Raise your hand if you get weirdly suspicious when someone's actually nice to you. Yup. If compliments make you cringe, reassurance feels fake, and emotional safety feels like a trap, congrats, you might be living that attachment trauma life. See, when your nervous system has been trained to survive chaos, calm feels like a setup, and when someone actually respects your boundaries, sends good morning texts, doesn't disappear for 3 days and blame Mercury retrograde, your brain's like, okay, but what's the catch? Spoiler alert, there isn't one. That's just what healthy relationships look like. And if that makes you more anxious than being ignored, we've got some healing to do, babe. Today we're talking about green flags, the overlooked, underrated, holy crap. This is how love is supposed to feel kind of stuff. The signs that you're finally dating someone who doesn't trigger your fight or flight reflex like it's a sport. In this episode of Date or Detonate, we're going to break down the behaviours that should not feel rare, but do. Especially if your past relationships have felt more like emotionally violent escape rooms than safe partnerships. So, get cozy, take a breath, and maybe don't text that emotionally unavailable ex just because they posted an Instagram story looking mysterious and hot. Okay, my friends, let's get into the 5 green flags your attachment trauma wasn't ready for. If you actually think about it, recognising green flags in relationships is like finally realising you've been eating gas station food your whole life, and then discovering actual fine dining, especially if you've got attachment trauma, which is basically emotional sunburn from being left out in the blazing heat of neglect, criticism, or someone's mood swings for too long. Knowing the difference between real love and your trauma's greatest hits. Playlist is vital because otherwise you might mistake anxiety for butterflies. And guess what? They are not the same. Spotting green flags helps you stop choosing chaos with a sexy jawline and start choosing peace with a decent communication style instead. So, what exactly is attachment trauma, my friends? Think of it as a glitch in your relationship programming. It happens when you grow up with love that's conditional, missing, or only shows up when you perform a backflip emotionally. It messes with how you see yourself and others, like trying to watch a rom-com through a cracked phone screen while on fire. People with attachment trauma tend to develop spicy thought patterns like, I'm unlovable, or they'll leave if I'm not perfect, or the classic, I'm the problem, it's me. The trauma voice in your head will have you panicking over a delayed text and building imaginary breakups in your mind before dinner. And let's not forget the cherry on top. The constant fear of abandonment that makes you either cling like a koala or push people away like it's a sport. Understanding these patterns is key, or else you'll keep dating emotional roller coasters and calling it destiny. Now let's talk patience, and not the I waited 20 minutes for a text back and now I'm spiralling kind. We mean real, grown-up, emotionally regulated patience. A solid partner knows healing isn't linear. It's more like a toddler learning to walk, adorable, wobbly, and full of unexpected crying. When you're dealing with trauma, having someone who doesn't flinch at your bad days is a green flag so big it needs its own parade. For example, during arguments, a healthy partner will use gentle words like, I hear you, instead of triggering phrases like, you always do this. And when you need space, they actually give it to you, without making it weird or turning it into a guilt trip. That kind of patience tells your nervous system, hey, maybe we're safe here. And in a world full of ghosters, gaslighters, and vague text bubblers, that's revolutionary. Let's move on to one of the hottest green flags out there, healthy anger management. Yes, it exists. And no, it's not someone slamming doors and then sending you a meme 2 hours later like nothing happened. Healthy anger looks more like, hey, I felt hurt when you said that. Can we talk about it? Instead of reenacting Fast and Furious, emotional edition. Trauma tends to make anger feel either terrifying or explosive. A survival tactic dressed as self-defense. But when a partner can stay calm during conflict, chef's kiss. It creates emotional safety, like, oh wow, we can disagree and not destroy each other in the process. Plus, accountability is the real MVP here. A partner who can say, that was my bad, and then actually do better is rarer than a non-toxic group chat. It shows they care more about repair than being right. And honestly, that's the sexiest thing since emotional availability. Encouraging personal growth and independence in relationships is not just a cute Pinterest quote. It's survival, especially for folks healing from trauma. Because if your idea of love is morphing into a personal assistant with trust issues, we need to talk. People-pleasing might feel like love, but spoiler alert, it's just emotional cosplay with a side of self-neglect. When you always put your partner's needs above your own, you start disappearing, like emotionally ghosting yourself. And let's be real, nothing says I'm thriving like completely forgetting what you enjoy because you're too busy being their unpaid life coach. A healthy partner, they hype you up to do your own thing. They want you to chase your hobbies, your goals, maybe even start that pottery class where everyone cries while shaping clay. Supporting each other's independence doesn't mean growing apart. It means growing up. You can celebrate your partner's wins without turning it into a competition. Clap for their promotion like it's your favourite artist dropping a surprise album. When you both feel free to grow, love becomes less of a hostage situation and more of a vibe. Respect, admiration, and OMG, look at you go, energy. That's the real green flag, my friends. Now, let's talk boundaries, aka the emotional seatbelts that keep your relationship from flying off the drama highway. Setting boundaries is hard, especially if you've got attachment trauma and a PhD in saying it's fine when it's definitely not fine. You might feel guilty for asserting your needs, like, oh no, I asked for personal space. I guess I'm a monster. But here's the thing, healthy love doesn't come with emotional fines for asking to breathe. A real one, a keeper, will respect your space without making it weird. They'll listen to your, hey, I'm not okay with that, without immediately spiralling or treating you like you just declared war. When boundaries are respected, something magical happens. Trust grows, your anxiety chills out, and you stop rehearsing fake apologies in the shower. It's not about shutting people out, it's about not abandoning yourself to keep the peace. Boundaries say, I value myself in this relationship, which is honestly hotter than any bare-chested selfie. Now let's get into conflict. Because even healthy couples fight. They just don't do it like they're auditioning for Real Housewives. Codependency edition. Constructive conflict is key. Not the kind where someone weaponizes their childhood trauma during a debate about dinner. We're talking about real grown-up arguments, where you both stay on topic, use your inside voices, and no one brings up that thing from last November, unless it's super relevant. Listening during conflict? That's the gold standard. Like, I may strongly disagree, but I'll still shut up and listen because I respect you. That energy hits different. Bonus points if you work together on an actual solution, and don't just emotionally evacuate until someone caves. And please, no blaming, no insults, no "you're just like your mother" moments. That stuff leaves scars. When done right, conflict can actually make your bond stronger. You fight, you fix it, you grow. That's teamwork, baby. That's love with a game plan. Green flags aren't just aesthetics, they're emotional life rafts. Especially if you're healing from attachment trauma and trying to date like a functional adult, instead of a wounded raccoon with trust issues. Healing isn't easy, you're not alone. This community is here to laugh, cry, and overshare with you through every awkward, glorious step of becoming the version of you that finally recognises the love you deserve, not just the one you're trauma bonded to. Listen up, my friends. If you're going to spend money this week, at least make it count. Buy some fresh flowers from our affiliate link below. And here's why it's genius. You impress someone you love and you support our little channel. That's right, flowers for them, good karma for you, and supporting our content for us. It's giving romance, it's giving generosity, it's giving responsible consumerism with petals. So skip the awkward texts and send something that doesn't scream emotional damage. Tap the link below, buy the flowers, be the hero. We all win, especially the person who finally gets flowers without begging. Now go thrive. And maybe block your ex while you're at it. Just saying. Knowing what healthy love looks like, really looks like, helps you stop romanticising chaos and start choosing peace, my friends. So if this hit home or hit a nerve, please leave us a comment below with all of the tea. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who really needs to stop texting that walking red flag.